saved his ass in about 1998 because there was a movement. Things weren't looking so good around here, and it wasn't his fault. It was mostly weather related, and I had to do a little politicking to keep things together, and he appreciated that, I'm sure, and I appreciated still having him around. And it's proven to be, he's proven to be a real asset to the club. But he is, I don't like, or I did when I was Green Committee Chairman, I didn't like him talking to members too much because it would end up in a spat and it would be counterproductive. So I said, Jim, I'll talk to the people. If you have to apologize, if you have to say something, I'll come and tell you, and I'll tell you what to say to them. Because he has Charlie Lott before him, not quite as vociferous as Charlie and not quite as edgy as Charlie. They're protective of their methods, they're protective of their golf course, and they think they're doing things correctly, and they don't like criticism. We all don't like criticism, but they especially, it's their life's work, and it's their baby. And but he's smoothed out a few edges. He's able to talk to a few more people now, and he plays golf with people and does some things, so that's helped.
Was he a hands-on guy? I remember him one time out when they were reworking some of the lines here for, even the tees, that he was down on his knees in the dirt.
Oh, he's a hole digger. He'll go down and dig ditches, and he'll do whatever's necessary. He's just a hard-working man, and he worked at a 9-hole golf course before he came here in Twin Lakes, and I'm sure he did a lot of things on his own. I'm sure his budget wasn't so great in those days, and he had to do a lot of things. I've seen him fixing pipes. I've seen him fixing water lines. I've seen him digging ditches. I've seen him doing everything, cutting greens, and I didn't know he knew how to do that. One day I asked him, "What the hell are you doing?" He says, "I'm good at this. I'm the best." I said, "Oh, sure, right." So, but he right from the base, he knows how to do stuff, and he knows how to tell people how to do stuff, and he's a demanding guy. And he's great for the golf course.
Back from the mid-'60s, when you first started playing out here, to today, what would you say is the biggest change to the golf course, aside from the master plan changes? But, I mean, the condition of the course?
Oh, the condition of the course, purely bent fairways, and the condition of the golf course is phenomenal since then, and methods have changed. But Jim brought in, he's cutting the greens a lot closer. He's cutting them down to 115, or I forget what the height is these days. But the greens are faster, more consistent, and that has to do with some of the drainage changes, obviously. But Jim's methods, and the tees are good. Everything's consistently better now. Not that Charlie did a bad job, but he was kind of hindered by budgetary constraints and equipment constraints, and we probably didn't commit as much to our capital improvement of equipment back in those days, and since Jim's been here since 1996, we've done a lot of that. But the fairways are tighter, the rough is more consistent. Obviously, we cut down a lot of trees, and that's helped grow some grass, and that's helped in the visuals of the golf course have changed a lot with the removal of a lot of trees. But just the general condition of the golf course and greens and bunkers, obviously.
With the removal of the trees, Doug, was that controversial among the membership, or?
It always is whenever you remove a tree, and I've had my own argument with Jim this year about a couple trees he removed over the winter, and he wouldn't speak to me for a week or so. But anytime you cut down a tree or a big tree, you have controversy. And I think people have finally figured it out after they've seen the trees down and then they've seen the result. It's been very little change as far as the visuals go. But it's helped the condition of the golf course. It's helped grow grass. Trees suck up moisture, and if there are too many of them, some of them are not very pretty around here, and they do need removal. I used to accuse Stu Hughes of any tree he hit with a golf ball would be hit by lightning that next winter and been removed. But we have removed a lot of trees and it's been beneficial. But it is controversial. So.
We have a chance to sit and talk about Tillinghast with you. Obviously, you know, that is a great benefit to our club and our course here.
Mm-hmm.
In your work with Stephen Kay, what elements of Tillinghast design stand out at this course?
The bunkering in the smaller greens, and the design of some holes strategy-wise, short holes, small greens, bunkered well, so you have to make decisions. And we created the Great Hazard, which is kind of a mirror of other hazards he's had around. I've played a couple golf courses up east, and I can't think of the name of the one, but they do have specifically these large hazards, and that's something that he believed in. But it was just the bunkering and the fingers of the bunker and the strategic bunkering, which is Tillinghast. And I've played 2 or 3 other Tillinghast golf courses, and you can tell you've been there before. You know, you've seen this hole before.
And we were able to find sketches of his original design here?
Absolutely.
And that's what Stephen worked with?
Stephen worked with, and obviously in the old days, they didn't have the equipment to do things quite as extensively as we would like. So I think he kind of looked at it and figured out what Tillinghast would have liked. So he had enough experience with Tillinghast to do that and create what, although modernizing the course and bringing into modern standards, especially the new tees. I don't know if Tillinghast would have liked the new tees, but that's another story. Modernizing the golf course, yet continuing with the flavor of Tillinghast. But he tried to use the older plans to create what Tillinghast was after here. We don't even know how often Tillinghast was here and whether he was sober when he was here, but in the 20s, he lived in New York, in New Jersey areas, and he had to come back and forth by train. We don't know if he had, a person that he relied on to stay here, and he just made the trip back and forth. We're not sure of that. We haven't seen any notes on that. So, but it definitely is a Tillinghast golf course.
The course as it stands today, though, follows his original routing. I mean, the whole layout.
As far as I know, yes, it does. We used to play the other 9 as the front 9. As far as which holes, the sequence of holes, I think has changed. But generally, the design of the golf course, except for, we did number 8. We've got new number 12, but we still have old number 12, which is his original hole, and most of number 8. Number 8's been lengthened and so on. But generally, the golf course has had the same routing forever. Yeah.
Right. I know that looking through the archives and talking to Ken Stouffer over the years, that he said Tillinghast came here a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
One, when he first came here, came off of Detroit Road, and Bradley was a gravel road,
Mm-hmm.
and they stopped out front, and here was this tract of land, and he said, "What is this?" And he walked from Bradley eastbound and looked at it and then found Lake Hazard out here, and said, "Well, okay, now we have something to work with." Turned around and went back. And he came back one more time, and at that time, maybe a year or 2 later, they had paved Bradley, and he had a comment or two about saying, well, progress is being made over here on this west side of Cleveland. But he came here for a lot of cases to work on courses that were here from Canterbury and even Chagrin Falls or Chagrin Valley, and added his touch and upgrade. Some of the things that he did all the time was he had the bunker always in the back. And there's one here on 15, and there's about 3 holes that have a bunker in the back. So he has some trademarks.
Mm-hmm.
His trademarks were also giving some leeway to the slicers. Always, you go down so far, they did lay out an area that the ball would go to the right. But interestingly enough, I have not seen any of his documentation except what Stephen did when he has the layout, and our intent is someday to get that book that we have that Stephen put hole by hole
Right.
renovation that I'm sure you saw, and get that online in our storage facilities and our archives. But when you were working with the golf committee, and the Greens committee, you went ahead and had an opportunity to see a lot of things change. As chairman, you're always in the firing line.
Right.
And what were some of the wild ideas or things that sounded from the membership or anybody that came out and said, wait a minute, why don't we put a bunker in the middle of the green, or some of these crazy things?
Well, actually,
Did we have that?
for some reason, I don't know if there's a fear factor involved, but not too many people came up to me with suggestions. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, that shows
No,
that,
no, no.
no, that shows that you did a good job.
I'm not sure of that, or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Not too many wild ideas. Herb Davis used to have ideas about once a week, but we ignored those. Not too many. Actually, one of the things Stephen Kay wanted to do was remove that pin oak on number 8. He doesn't like
Yes.
trees in the middle of golf courses, and that was controversial. So we decided that we would keep that tree. He was arguing and lobbying really to remove that tree, and we decided that would be a little too much for the membership to take. As it grows larger and larger, we might have some issues about that, but he really doesn't like golf, or doesn't like trees that interfere with golf shots or golf holes.
Right.
And so
that's how the 1 on 14 disappeared, Stephen?
yeah, no. Unless Stephen has a better relationship with God than we do. And I think they did a great job of trying to fix that. That tree was a great. He didn't like the tree.
I figured.
But it was there, and we weren't going to do anything to that. There was never any conversation about that tree. That was going to stay. But we did have conversations about the one on number 8. And then when he saw it come down, he probably thought that he and God had some sort of relationship. So, and they did a great job of rebunkering that, I think, and making it somewhat a better hole. Yeah.
Tell me about your thoughts on number 16, from what it was with the concrete wall to what it is now, for a changeover from that area.
Oh, it was wonderful. The concrete wall's falling apart, and it wasn't really holding things together at all. There was a lot of erosion and so on, and so then the engineers decided, I think through Dave Sminchak's outfit and Bruce Gilbert, that if we graded it, and it would be fine. It would work out great. That was a great addition. I mean, to get rid of the ugliness, the aesthetics worked out much better, and it became a better looking golf hole, obviously. And it wasn't going to erode, and everything was fine. I think people thought we had to have that there, or the hole was going to disappear. But it became a much better golf hole, and a much better look with the way they did it. It was great.
If you had
Super.
to name 3 holes that were on this golf course that are what you would say good golf holes,
Mm-hmm.
Think about that for a second, and then tell me why those holes probably are better than what degree, doesn't matter, but is a very good golf hole.
I think 14's a great golf hole. It's just fabulous from day one. It's for all of us basically a 3-shot hole, and it has a lot of things. There's great bunkering. There's one bunker I probably argue with Stephen Kay about, but
Which one is that?
that one's at the far end of the fairway.
Oh, yeah.
Far end of the fairway at the bend.
That little one that-
Yeah, it's really, I don't know if it's necessary, but he and I have had a discussion about that. But it's just a great golf hole. It's just a dog leg. It's got a nice green area. It's got enough trees, and it's got enough look to it, and it's just a good hole, and it keeps your interest throughout 3 really great shots to get on the green, and then the green is for around here. We've